All right, hey Danielle, strap in. It's time to go.
I'm
This
strapped in.
is Divinity Original Sin 2, the sequel to Divinity Original Sin, which was one of my favorite games of, I believe it was 2013 or was it 2014? I don't remember.
I think it was last year.
Was it last year?
I'm pretty sure it was last year.
It seems so long ago. I'm excited
Yeah.
for more, but they are working on a sequel, which you're seeing now. You're seeing the combat, which looks basically the same, but there's a lot of new stuff. One of the new things you're seeing is when you kill these beetles, ghosts pop out.
Whoa!
Your character is a spirit whisperer. So now every character you kill, you can speak to their spirit. And if you want, you can steal their soul and use it for dark magic.
Oh, that sounds great, actually.
There's a lot of cool, weird stuff they're doing. One of the major things that we want to get into is it's co-op again. The last game was 2-player co-op. Now it's 4-player co-op. So every single party member can be controlled by somebody, and they're all going to have different motivations, and their characters are going to be different. So you're seeing this is the main human character. They're all going to have different reactions to the statue. So this main human character grew up in this town. So she, she has all these legends about this hero that she loves. We're going to see this is another human character. And as a human, he's heard the legends too. He's not from this area, but he's heard tell of this heroic figure.
Gotcha.
Here's an elf, and the elf is going to have never heard of this. Impressive man for a human.
Man.
For a human.
Yeah. It's like how
So,
a Klingon talks.
the elf kind of like is familiar but not super into it.
Sure, sure.
And then the dwarf has his own little take on it, which is basically this guy murdered a bunch of dwarves. He's terrible. He's not a good person. So that was just kind of a basic example of like the different things that you're going to get. So now we're entering town here. This is the town where the main character, the lead character here, grew up.
Okay.
So they're gonna basically recognize her. They're gonna be like, "Hey, listen, your mom is in jail for poisoning the mayor."
Oh shit.
The mayor got poisoned. We're trying to figure out who did it. Your mom is a suspect, and so is this dwarf. And we're trying to figure out what's going on. Now, as a human, of course, you're allowed in the town. You could ask the officer to let your friends in, but we chose not to. So now my friends can't come with us.
Oh goodness.
So I'm just on my own. So now let's say that we're playing multiplayer. These guys can go and do their own thing. So now we're going to have the, this is the elf character here, who's going to basically ask, can I get into town? The guard's going to be like, no, we can't. We're not letting anyone in right now. The mayor got poisoned. We're trying to figure out what's going on.
Especially if you're on fire, like that elf clearly is.
Well, yeah, of course. Well, actually, so that's kind of how we play into it is the elf is going to say, I'm a magician, and, I'm not going to do anything bad. There's nothing that I could do. I could only help. So the guard's going to be like, oh, sure, if you're a magician, go ahead.
Smart guard, yeah.
Yeah. Then we're going to get this human thief over here. The guard's going to say, hey, if you give me 20 coins, I'll let you go. The human thief doesn't have 20 coins.
Oh, no.
So instead what he's going to say is, listen, I'm not a dwarf. I'm not going to cause problems. I'm a human to human here. Let me in. The guard says, all right, go ahead.
Nice.
How do you think things are going to go for our dwarf buddy here?
I think we just messed things up for our dwarf buddy a little bit there.
So this is like the cool thing. Like, this game, the characters are going to be able to completely go off in their own directions, and sometimes they're going to work together, and sometimes they might be working competitively.
I like that.
They're going to have different goals and different things that they want to do. So, here the guard is like, for a dwarf, you're going to need 50 coins to get in, not 20.
A little bit of dwarf racism there, I feel
definitely doesn't have 50 coins. Yeah. The dwarf is stuck. Dwarf can't get in. So we've kind of like snuck around town here, fought through some enemies, and found a hidden entrance into the dwarven slums, which will lead us into town. So the world of Divinity Original Sin, as you can see, dwarves are not very well liked. Yeah. There's a dwarven empire that they're basically at war with, and the dwarves in this town are basically economic refugees from that empire. You can see this dwarf is had enough of the dwarven racism, He's going to blow up this fruit stand.
Burning, burning, burning.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Diseased. That was a bunch of fruit dying.
Yeah.
And then, so what's interesting is we're in town here. We're the human character in town. We can see the dwarf run off into the mines. And then if we switch back over to our dwarf character, we're going to see the dwarf enter the mines and basically tell everyone, my brother's in jail. So this is the dwarf who is accused of poisoning the mayor. My brother's in jail just because he's a dwarf.
Oh.
And it's kind of bullshit.
Oh, my goodness.
Here we're playing as the elf again. We're visiting the mayor who's sick. We've gone off on our own to investigate and try and figure out why this mayor is poisoned.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I mean,
who poisoned?
Mayor?
We're trying to figure out who poisoned the mayor specifically.
Who done it? Yep.
And this is the healer who's trying to heal the mayor. Currently, the mayor's alive but very sick. Here's the thing: this elf doesn't really care about humans.
Sure.
So we're just gonna kill this healer.
Yep, like you do.
There's that healer's ghost. We're gonna talk to the ghost and steal her soul. And then here's Lady Ashwill, who's the mayor.
Yep.
You can see she's coughing. She's not doing very good.
Oh,
Let's
Lady
put her out of
Ashwill.
her misery.
This is clearly a mercy kill.
But here's what we can do now. We have the ghost here. Hey, who poisoned you? Let's find out.
Right.
We could just
that's
ask the
useful.
ghost. We couldn't talk to Mayor Ashwell before because in her human sick form, she was too sick to talk.
Yeah, out of commission.
But as in a ghost, we can just say... the other thing that they said is you'll be able to ask her who killed you, and she will be like, yeah, that was you. You did that.
What?
But that is not in the game right now. So anyway, she tells us that it's somebody else who killed her. It's not the main character's mom. It's not that dwarf. It's somebody else entirely. Meanwhile, we've got the main character running around here who is trying to free her mom and has realized that the dwarf character is going to be sympathetic to the dwarves and maybe going to be a problem, right?
Ah, yes.
So we want to take care of that dwarf character. We're like, how can we fix that dwarf character?
Yeah.
So we're going to buy some red dye. That's going to be step one. This is where things get really wild with this game, Danielle.
It already has been a little wild, so I'm excited to get really wild with this.
This game is completely built around your party members fighting and you being able to troll your party members in really ridiculous ways.
That's great.
So we bought some red dye here. We're going to talk to this dwarf. This dwarf, as it turns out, sells poison.
Okay, good.
Interestingly. So we're going to go ahead and buy some of that poison.
Super useful.
Mm-hmm. And then there's a nice little crafting system in this game. Let's mix the red dye and the poison. See what we get.
Perfect.
Huh. All right, we've got a large healing potion.
What?
Let's just send that over to our dwarf party member.
Yeah, just drink that up, buddy. You look a little peaked.
Yeah, so now our dwarf has a large healing potion. The crafting system is actually really cool, and I wanted to show off. You can actually mix spells as well, craft them together. So you're getting rid of 2 spells, but you're crafting them into something special. So, as an example here, we're gonna mix together mute, which is a spell that makes you quiet, and summon spider, which is a spell that summons a spider companion to fight for you.
Oh my!
And we're gonna get something very special out of that. Let's craft it up here. We have a stealth spider. This is a spider who we will summon it, and as soon as he has been summoned, we can turn him stealth and have him sneak around the battlefield.
That is fantastic.
The party members will not be able to see him.
Oh my god. Okay,
Yeah.
so there is clearly so much emergent stuff in this game.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
So here we're mixing grease and rain.
Okay.
And that's going to create grease rain. This is going to rain down grease on everything.
And I'm sure that'll make things easier to set on fire.
Exactly correct.
Very
it
nice.
will indeed.
Very nice.
And also grease traps will freeze enemies as well, so they'll get stuck in them.
Excellent.
So here we'll mix rain and lacerate.
Oh.
And that's going to create a rain of blood, actually.
Perfect.
And the way that rain of blood works is you can get a skill called vampirism that's going to make you heal if you're standing in piles of blood.
Oh, that's
So suddenly you can cast this rain of blood and just heal nonstop.
That's like Saturday afternoon for me. That's perfect.
All right, so we're ending off this video here. We've stumbled upon our dwarf party member. He's gotten into a fight,
No.
and we're going to be able to basically, he's fighting, and at some point we can interrupt and be like, actually, we're not on your side. We're fighting you, and you can have your party members fighting NPCs and each other at the same time.
Excellent.
To basically determine the outcome. What's going to happen if a character dies is they're going to be able to resurrect, of course, but they're going to be weakened by what happened, and they're going to have to go through some steps to that are still being determined to gain their strength back. So if you're constantly fighting with each other, if you're constantly working against each other and killing each other, you're going to end up getting weaker and weaker. So there might be points where you have to compromise. There might be points where you fight it out in order to decide what your compromise is going to be.
I see.
But basically,
Kinda
they've
like
taken
life.
they've taken this very simple co-op system from the first game, which was only 2-player, and if you got into a fight in dialogue, let's say, all you would do was a rock paper scissors to determine whose answer won. Well, they've increased the complexity so much and made it so that you can have all the characters going off doing their own thing, going to different areas, going after their own separate objectives at the same time.
Yeah,
and those
this
objectives
seems
can
really
clash in really interesting ways.
Yeah, this seems extremely cool. I'm excited to check this out now. I didn't know anything about this, and now I'm kind of like, wow, there's a lot going on here. That's awesome.
The original Divinity Original Sin was already a great game, but they've really just added to the complexity so much, and the way they focused on co-op is surprisingly awesome.
Nice.
Other quick things to mention before I forget about it, before we end the video, is
Sure.
they're coming out with Divinity Original Sin Enhanced Edition, which is going to be on consoles. This is built on the Enhanced Edition engine, which means it will have controller support. This is only coming out for PC right now, this sequel.
Sure.
But you will be able to plug in a controller and play it on your TV if you'd like, or just use it with a controller. I got to test it with a controller when I saw the game, and it was real cool.
Nice.
It worked very well, and yeah, this is they're planning a 2016 release. It is going on Kickstarter today, the day this video goes up.
Awesome.
So you can go kickstart it. They did clarify to me that the first game was very successful. So they're like, we have the money to create this already. The Kickstarter is primarily going to be to fund making it even bigger and even more awesome.
That's a good use for Kickstarter.
Yeah,
That's
it's
smart.
gonna be all about like the extra goals, like how many origin stories can we get in, how many areas can we get in, all of that stuff, and that's all going to depend on how much they end up raising in total. And I'm sure that will also affect when the game actually comes out. They're aiming for late 2016, but they said, depending on how things go, if they have a whole lot of stuff to do, it might take a little bit longer. But they will have early access as well for Kickstarter backers, which they did with the original game also.
Nice. That all makes a lot of sense and sounds pretty rad.
Yeah, so I had to get through that quickly. There was a lot to get in, but man, this game looks so cool. I'm really into it, and hopefully we'll see more soon. They'll be at PAX showing it off. So if you happen to be going to PAX, maybe go check it out.
Rad.